Hey everyone, Gary Simon of CourseCetro.com, and today we're going to do something a little bit different and cover something that's based solely on design. And I do understand we've been tackling the development side of things for the past several months, but I do want to focus on full stack, which does include things like identity and logo design. So I'm going to show you the process behind designing a logo for a cryptocurrency business, and the process of effective logo design, though, remains the same regardless of the niche. So whether it's a cryptocurrency business, a flower business, or a gaming business, the following approach is one that you can use while designing a logo for literally any business or purpose. So we're going to talk about what constitutes effective logo design while showcasing a single project that I recently tackled for a cryptocurrency related business. Oh, but real quick, before we begin, make sure you check out my site, CourseCetro.com, where you're going to find a bunch of courses on modern design and development. A lot are free, and the others you can access for the cost of buying me like a 6-pack each month. That's it. Now, also, it probably wouldn't hurt to subscribe here on YouTube, and be sure to make sure the notifications are turned on. All right, let's get back to it. So, what is this business? Well, I'm into cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and IOTA, and I came across an individual who's launching a decentralized charity called Fort based on IOTA, which is a cryptocurrency. You don't really need to understand it, but if you want to learn more, you can check out this link here at iota.org. And Fort as a name is a play on for them, and Fort as a whole is being used to signify a shelter for the disadvantaged, for example. So a description of Fort as a charity and service is, it's a decentralized charity that employs the IOTA tangle. Now, you don't have to understand what that is either. Again, visit iota.org to understand more. And it's based on the IOTA tangle to provide economic aid to people in need. So if you want to learn more about this business specifically, which is not fictional, it's actually real, you could check out this link here. I'll try to remember to link these in the YouTube description so you can just click on them. All right, so I was approached to design a logo for Fort, and I took that as an opportunity. So let's talk about brainstorming here. So regardless of the business, it's necessary to brainstorm and identify key attributes that both identify the purpose of the business and also what makes it unique. So for the Fort project, after talking with one of the main guy behind it, I identified several attributes: crypto, digital, currency and money, charity and giving, help and aid, Fort, hideout, enclosure, safety and security. So giving these different attributes, we can begin to form concepts that relate to the word mark, which is the type portion of the logo, like the name Fort, and any associated symbolism or marks. So where do we begin? Well, I like starting with the name or the word mark personally. So again, a word mark is the type portion of a logo. In our case, it's Fort. And if we want a unique treatment applied to the type outside of just using a strict font like this without any modifications, then it's best to ensure that whatever is done is unique and relevant based on the business. So looking at Fort right here, not Fart, Fort, this is just a regular sans serif font, not all that exciting. But the purpose of looking at it is to help us determine and formulate potential visual representations of the attributes that we formulated and we listed out earlier. So the one that I came up with immediately was to connect the top of the F with the top of the T, which could help for an enclosure or a fort over the entirety of the word mark. So let's look at that and see what that looks like. All right, so a few things changed here. I decided to capitalize the O and the R to help create visual consistencies because the lowercase lettering kind of throws an extra element of complexity I just do not like. Now, I like this concept because it's simple, relevant, and unique, all of which are necessary attributes to an effective logo. But we can't just stop there. As logo designers, it's always worth further exploring a given concept to see if we could take it other places. So the next one I came up with is right here. So this is an approach that further solidifies the concept of being in a fort or an enclosure or being safe by encasing the entire word mark in a rectangle with a single point of entry under or to the right of T. So I also took this concept a few steps further right here. So the concept on the left creates an entire enclosing, though I thought it might be hard to read, so I created a variation on the right that separates the F right over here. Now at this point, I showed the client the series of concepts, and their feedback suggested that they wanted to see a separate symbol, like the Nike swoosh. So combinations or combination logos, they consist of a word mark and a separate symbol that can be used together or independently. So for this cryptocurrency logo, they wanted to see a unique mark that can be used outside of the name. So symbolism, it can come in many different forms. Some are purely abstract, others are literal, and some are letter marks. Now, a letter mark, like a word mark, uses a letter as the foundation of the symbolism. It's usually either just a single letter that represents the beginning letter of the business name, or multiple letters in the case of a business that has multiple words. Now, in the case of Fort, we just have F. So the task is to represent the F while also representing in a unique and relevant manner the purpose of this cryptocurrency business. So the process is the same as the above in the case of the word mark. So here we have a simple F. So it's all about identifying unique forms and shapes in this F that pertain to this business while maintaining the readability of the F. So my idea was to recreate the F form by using a perfect square. So now we have something that's unique, but still has an identifiable F here on the right. But still, there's nothing that says anything about this company. So I decided to stick with the enclosure/fort concept by completing the square in a less thick weight. So overall, we have a square, which is a very vague, albeit relevant representation of an enclosure or a fort. So it looks interesting, but what if we rotated it, say, 45 degrees? All right, so I added a second variation to the right, which provided for an entrance into the fort by separating a portion of the F right here, while also still making it identifiable, although still pretty much in an abstract manner. So the final logo, I presented the symbolism in this form below. So here we have two variations as full combination logos, but notice that the word mark here is much more simplistic than the word marks that I presented earlier. Well, that's because if you're going to use a combination logo, it's best to keep the word marks simple as opposed to complex. I did slightly change the F right here, but nothing else. Now, it's also helpful to present the client with an explainer graphic if you have something that's pretty unique. And as we can see here, we're isolating the F to show that it is an F, and it is serving as basis of a letter mark. And then also over here, we're describing, the point of entry and the actual fort concept itself. So at the end of the day, they chose the above symbolism to represent fort. So this is the process that I use to design most of my logo concepts. So hopefully you learned a thing or two going forward when you design concepts. All right, once again, I'm Gary Simon. Check out CourseCetro.com, and I will see you later.